Calling all builders. Welcome to Snowflake's 5-minute Demo Dare, where contestants race against the clock to demo the latest and greatest Snowflake products and features. Our judges will rate the demos based on 3 criteria. How ambitious is the demo? Is the demo useful and replicable? And finally, how engaging and interactive was the demo? Each category is worth 5 points, and demos can rack up to a total of 15 points for a perfect score. And now, your host, developer advocate Felipe Hoffa.
We are live. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We are ready for today's 5-minute demo there. We want your questions. The clock is ready. Our judges are ready, and our participant is ready. But wait, what am I seeing here? Who is our contestant today? Whoa! Batman, what are you doing here?
Hey, Felipe. Thanks for having me on the show.
It's my pleasure. What happened to Jon?
Jon, he connected me, but I'm the brains behind the operation, so Batman's going to be doing the demo today.
Well, thank you, Batman, for coming and joining us. What's your demo about today?
Today, I'm going to show you how to use Weaviate within Snowpark Container Services to enable semantic searching within your Snowflake data. It's very cool.
Semantic searching inside of Snowflake. I guess that's very useful for Batman, the world's greatest detective.
That's right. That's how we solve crimes in Gotham.
Aha. Really cool to see. So, you know how this show goes. Maybe you have seen it before. You have only 5 minutes to deliver a live demo. May the demo gods be with you. And we have 3 judges that are going to judge you on was his demo entertaining, was his demo useful, and was his demo ambitious. How much did you try to do in 5 minutes? So how much are you trying to do in 5 minutes today?
I'm going to do a lot. I'm going to go through a lot of it, but I'm not going to run all the code. A lot of it is creating images, Docker images, and submitting those up to Snowflake. So we'll skip all that part, but I'll show you the good stuff of how you interact with Weaviate.
So in 5 minutes, how do we know that your demo will be done in 5 minutes?
We're going to solve a few crimes live, believe it or not. We're going to put a few clues into the back computer, and using Weaviate, we're going to figure out who did the crime.
By the way, what is Weaviate?
Weaviate is an open source AI native vector database. And it's perfect for this situation because it's open source, and we can create a container and upload it right to Snowpark Container Services.
And by the way, as I mentioned, we have judges. They are not Harley. They're not the Joker. Let me introduce you to our judges today. They are Caroline Frasca, Talin. You tell me how to say your last name, Talin. And Francisco Catan. How are you doing, judges, today?
We're doing good.
Great. Happy to be here.
Yeah,
Happy
doing awesome. Looking forward to this demo by Batman.
Exactly. So, Francisco, before we go into the demo mode, anything that you want to tell Batman here? What are you expecting? Any questions about the demo he's featuring?
Yeah, I actually want to learn, about Weaviate and like what unique problem you solve, and I'm going to be looking for how relevant and useful it is for our customers. And finally, I'm going to be looking for how much fun you have delivering the demo. And I think I have a hunch about that last part, but that's what I'm looking for.
Yes, let's have fun and let's make this useful. How about you, Caroline?
Yeah, well, first of all, you already get extra points for the commitment to the bit. So I think you're far ahead already, but really excited to learn more about Weaviate. We're big fans of Weaviate over at Streamlit. So super excited.
Yes, I'm excited too. How about you, Tanin? And please tell me your last name again.
Yeah. So my first name is Chanin, and my last name is Nantat Senamat, which is a long name for typically for Thai people. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Batman, Weaviate, and Snowpark Container Services, and yeah, looking forward to seeing how and the magical things that you're building today.
Cool. Yes, and I need to put the accent in Tanin, but that's my homework. So we have already friends sending comments live. I hope you are all looking forward to this demo. Ty Ramesh, Andre Luis is sending cheers from Italy, and Connor Shorten is very excited about Jon. I don't know who Jon is, but I do know Batman. Any last questions you have for Jon before we start? Caroline, Janine, Francisco? Good. Jon, anything you would like us to know before the timer starts?
Nope, nothing we haven't covered already.
Okay, cool. Because anything you say from now on will count against the 5-minute timer. So, are you ready for the timer to start?
Yes.
Let's go into demo mode.
All right. Hey, everyone. Thanks for coming. Excited to show you how I solve crime in Gotham. Well, we'll get rid of the infinity screen right away. So let's start about the problem. The problem is there's only one of me, but there's a lot of villains in Gotham. I can't keep up with all the crime. Crime is on the rise. Look at this crime rate chart. It's ridiculous. It just keeps going up. So I need a way to solve crime faster to keep up with the rate of increase. So how do I do that? I do that with data. Yes. So I have a really cool database in Snowflake called the villain database. And in this database, I keep track of a lot of metadata about all the different villains, right? We got the descriptions, we got their strengths, their weaknesses, their fears, their intelligence. We got all kinds of really cool information about them. But I need a way to be able to search through all this information by just giving it some clues and having the back computer just tell me who did the crime, right? So that's where Weaviate comes in. As I said earlier, the Weaviate is an open source AI native vector database, so it's perfect for being able to install it within the confines of Snowpark Container Services. So with Weaviate, we're also going to install a vectorizer and Jupyter notebooks, and then the back computer itself, right? So we're going to install all these components in it. So let's start by looking at some of the code that you need to run in order to get this to work. So first, we're going to have to build a bunch of Docker containers. So we'll run these commands here to create the Docker images. And we'll upload those to Snowflake after we tag them, make sure Snowflake knows what they are. We'll push them up there, and then we'll also include some of these YAML files. So these YAML files will essentially just tell Snowflake how to run, what to do. And down here, we can see all the different compute pools we're going to create that these services are going to run on. What's really cool is that, vectorizers, they run really, really fast on GPUs. And with Snowflake, Snowpark Container Services, we can run GPUs. Check this out. Down here, we're running this one on a GPU, but all the rest are on CPUs. So we're getting that added performance of what a GPU could do for a vectorizer model. So everything will run really, really fast. So we're going to create all these compute pools. Once they're up and running, then we're going to go and create the services themselves. As I said, it's going to use that YAML to understand how to create these services. I created these YAMLs, and it's already open source, so anyone can use these. And we're going to also make sure to poke holes so we can access these services from the internet. Once we grant permissions to it, we can now access it on a browser. So let's check that out. So if I go over to the back computer here, we're going to where it's hosted within Snowpark Container Services. This back computer is talking to Weaviate. And so when I run searches and input clues, like let's just say we found a note. Oops. Note to Bruce. Oh my gosh, I can't type. Bruce Wayne. There we go. Note to Bruce Wayne. So we're going to run that search, and it shows Hush. I don't know if you guys are aware, but Hush knows exactly who Bruce Wayne is and Batman is. So that makes sense that he would be writing notes to Bruce Wayne at a crime scene. What if we did Killer Plant? Right? Came across one of those. Oh, Poison Ivy. That makes perfect sense because she controls plants and she has a bunch of killer plants. But what's also interesting here is that it showed me Killer Croc. So this is taking advantage of hybrid search where it searches both keywords and semantic meaning combined together to make the best search experience, right? So this is what Weaviate gets you out of the box. We're able to plug in all that really great rich data living in Snowflake right into Weaviate, and then we create this semantic searching experience. This was very easy to do. I have it all lined out, and check out my blog post with Snowflake and Weaviate. Happy to post that in the chat. But if you want to reach me, you have any further questions, go ahead and email me, batman@weaviate.io. That you'll get me directly. And thank you guys so much for your time. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you see how I can solve crime faster in Gotham. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. You had a full minute left, but that was
wow. I definitely rushed that one a little too fast, but glad I stayed under.
Yes. Judges, what did you think? What questions do you have? I'm sure you have a lot of questions about this crime-solving spree. Francisco, he unmuted first.
I was quite impressed. True story, I was once a paid actor to play the Joker when I was in college, so Gotham is kind of close to my heart. But yeah, I was quite impressed about how much you were able to get done in actually almost like 4 minutes. You know, from the Docker containers, creating the compute pools, and then doing a semantic search and a keyword search. I was very impressed.
Yes. Any questions for Jon, Francisco? You always have deep questions.
Yeah, I was looking forward to learning a bit more about Weaviate. How would you say it differs from, Pinecone comes to mind. Obviously, it's open source. It may give you some advantages. What other advantages would you say?
Yeah, open source against Pinecone is obviously the biggest one. You can't install Pinecone within Snowpark Container Services, right? That's the biggest one, most glaring. But also being able to support really, really large use cases, especially with multi-tenancy in mind. Weaviate's putting a lot of time and effort in development around being able to support these massive use cases with potentially tens of thousands to millions of tenants in a single instance of Weaviate.
Awesome. Yeah, that's good. And then you had some data stored in Snowflake that was then vectorized. Which vectorizer were you using?
Great question. Yeah, as part of the kind of the scripts I went through, one of the containers was a text to vectorizer that uses the transformers model, and Weaviate does provide that container for you if you want to use that. But the beauty of that, again, it's open source. You can install that anywhere you want. It runs alongside of Weaviate, since all the containers can talk to each other in Snowpark Container Services. It makes it really easy to just kind of have a Weaviate point to that vectorizer, and anytime you send data to Weaviate, it'll automatically do that vectorization in the background.
Impressive. I was happy that you were able to solve the crime. So
yes. How about Tanin? Any questions, thoughts?
Yeah, really love the suit, and I also like the impersonation of Batman. The voice is very similar, and yeah, I was just curious. Like, I really like that animated like text cursor after you did the search, and then there's this text animation.
Yeah.
And also, like, I was just curious, like, how many lines of code did you use to create your Streamlit app? It looks pretty cool.
It was very few. I actually didn't do that part. I'm not much of a front-end developer myself. I had a colleague of mine named Adam do that part for me. So he basically created it into a container, gave it to me, and I pushed it up to Snowflake. But from what he's shown me, it was very few. It was like a couple lines of code.
Yeah, I think that's very interesting that he gave you a container and you were just able to upload it and connect it to the rest of your demo.
Yeah, exactly. It was all very seamless, and as I said, I've done a lot of the hard work for people if they want to try this, as far as creating the YAML files, the Docker files, all that stuff. And it's all in a repo actually within Snowflake.
Yeah, maybe we'll get a minute to see those YAML files before this half hour ends. So to make clear how you are connecting all of these blocks.
Sorry, say again.
No, in a minute, I would love to see how the YAML files to see how you are connecting all
Oh,
this.
sure. Yeah. Happy to show that stuff.
Yeah. Any other thoughts, comments, Janine?
Nothing else. Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Janine. And Caroline.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome. And super impressive that you were able to fully get it in, even with a minute to spare. I think 5 minutes already is super short. So kudos for packing in that demo. And it was great that we were able to see the entire demo within that time frame. Obviously, you get huge amount of points for the the costume, and the Batman email address is really something else. I was really interested in the app. It looks like maybe you used Vercel. I wasn't sure. And what the process is to interact with, how you went about interacting with Weaviate from like the app itself. I'd love to see like a little bit more behind the scenes there.
Sure. Yeah. The a lot of it is done with our Python client, which uses kind of gRPC under the covers, which is very, very fast and highly optimized. But the client takes care of all the hard work for you. So when you write queries to Weaviate, it's pretty basic. You just kind of write freeform text, like you saw what I put into that input box, whatever you like, and it'll take that text, turn it into a vector, and then it'll do like a nearest neighbor search on it. Find out what other vectors are similar to that one that you searched on.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I saw that you searched for plants and you got a botanist. Somehow there was a connection made there.
Yeah, plant lady. I thought that was impressive that it found it, because the keyword lady definitely wouldn't be anywhere in the description, right? Plant maybe, right? But it knows that poison ivy is a woman based off the semantics of it, right? So it's incredible how it can do it without having to have this massive database of various different parts of the keyword, right? We're not doing like stemming and n-grams and things like that. We're actually understanding the semantic meaning of what you're looking for.
Yeah, Weaviate is taking your data, your table from Snowflake. And how long does it take to index the data to answer these questions?
I had to think about 50 villains in the database, roughly. And because I was using the GPU, the slowest thing would be the vectorization process. But because I was using the GPU, it was like less than a minute to do all 50. It was probably like 10-20 seconds.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I want to give the judges some time to judge and discuss what your final score will be. And in the meantime, I would love to get audience live questions, but I also want to see your desktop back so we can go deeper into the YAML files. If you can share your desktop with us.
Yeah, hold on one second.
No problem. We are ready for live questions too. If anyone wants to learn more about Weaviate or has questions about the demo you just delivered. Erica says that Batman is quick. Connor says that Data Professor meets SPCS Batman legendary. Yes, the Data Professor is Janine. Janine says hi back to Connor. Cool. So these are your YAML files. This is how you connected all of the 4 different containers.
Exactly. Yes.
I see 5 YAML files here.
Yes, there's one for this is an extra one from, I'm not using this one, but if you wanted to install Olama, which allows you to install pretty much any LLM model you want, this one will do that. But I didn't cover that in this demo. But the Weaviate one here, as you can see, it points to that text to vec transformers one that we have running, and then that one is defined here, and we're enabling the GPUs and using CUDA as well. So a lot of if you don't understand how to do this stuff, it's okay. I've already done it for you. This works really well for this getting the text to vec vectorizer going.
Cool. And basically, you're asking for memory. You are connecting text to back. How is one container calling the other container? How do
So
they talk to each other?
let me go down here. I got some code
Mhm.
examples. So this is kind of creating the collection, but sorry, 1 second. Yeah, this is all creating the collection. This is connecting to both Snowflake and to Weaviate here. So this is very similar to the connection pattern. And then this is creating that collection to hold the data. And this is taking that data from Snowflake into a data frame, and then taking the bits I want and putting it right into Weaviate. So you can see here, I'm just kind of batching a 100 at a time and inserting those batches.
So you insert things into Weaviate, and then Weaviate stores. Where does Weaviate store the index?
Weaviate stores the vector, so it'll automatically do that vectorization in the background with using the transformers vectorizer, and then it'll store that vector in memory in a HNSW index, which is what you traverse when you write it, when you're doing a query, a search on it.
So this is happening when the container loads. This data is indexed and loaded into memory.
What's really cool about this, and one thing I kind of discovered this as I was playing with it, is I ran through this once to connect to Snowflake, put it into Weaviate, and then I shut down the container and the services. I did a drop service, I did a drop compute pool, all that, it was gone. But because I did a mount within the Snowflake, it keeps all the data. So once I recreated the same container again, it already had the data in there from the last time I ran this. So it has this persistence, right? I didn't have to reinsert it, which is really cool. So you could potentially, within Snowpark Container Services, populate these vector databases with Weaviate, shut them down, save on money if you're not actively using them, and then spin them back up when you do need them. Right, that's a really cool feature. I didn't realize was kind of built into this whole thing, but it saves you having to kind of repopulate it every time you spin it back up again.
Oh, that's great. And then you only need to take care of refreshing the indexes, bringing new data, deleting data.
It only refreshes if the data changes. So if I re-uploaded it and it matched on the ID, then it would kind of do an upsert and it would revectorize. If any of the fields that are part of the vector get updated, it'll revectorize that again. But if they're not, if there's certain fields that are just metadata fields, not part of the vector, those get updated, then it won't revectorize. So it's smart enough to know when to revectorize and when not to.
That's awesome. And people are eager to reproduce this demo. Ilir Kondo is asking, where's the GitHub link for this?
Great question. Let me go back to my browser here. And if you go to Weaviate.io, and then there's a blog here. Go to the blog, and then if you go down to page 2, I believe, or just search through Google, Snowflake and Weaviate, I believe it's right here. In this blog here, written by yours truly, not as Batman, but in here is, I believe, the link to the repo right here. Boom. So you click that, and it will take you to everything you need to do everything I did today.
Beautiful. I want to reproduce this demo. Well, the other question I have is, Weaviate, as you said, is open source. Anyone can take it, create these containers. What is Weaviate's business model?
How do we make money? Great question. We make money off deployment models. So whether we host it for you, or we host it in your cloud, or you use our cloud, or we create a single tenant version of our cloud for you, there's basically a deployment model for anything you want to do. And depending on how involved we are is how we make money. So even if you do it yourself, you want our tech support. If something goes wrong, we'll make money off a support contract, right?
Excellent.
We
sure.
really have one binary for Weaviate, so there's not like an enterprise version and open source version. It's just one open source version for everything.
Nice. What's the license?
It's man, I don't remember the name of it. It's the big anti-Amazon one that it doesn't let you basically like copy it and then make money off of it. But you can use it as part of your product. I forget the name of it. It's like an acronym, like 3 letters.
Cool. I'm sure when our judges come back, they might have thoughts about the open source world. That's a lot what we do with the Streamlit, and Francisco also works a lot with open source. I'm going to bring the judges back if they have any further questions and the final score. Janine, Caroline, before we deliver the final score, any message you have for people, and especially for the open source, about the open source world?
Yeah, definitely. Streamlit and Snowflake will be at PyCon next week. So we'll have an awesome booth there. Definitely stop by if you're at PyCon.
Excellent. PyCon next week and Summit very soon. How about you, Janine? Any final messages, questions? This is your time.
Yeah. Other than to join us and meet us up at PyCon and upcoming Summit, I was just wondering, like, Batman, what are some of the most challenging things as a crime fighting detective?
Keeping yourself anonymous, keeping your secret identity secret. That's the hardest part.
Yes, it's funny now that to see Batman that has a Weaviate logo.
Yeah.
It's less anonymous, but such a cool suit. And Francisco, this is your time to close the show, but before you do so and you tell us the latest score, I want to remind everyone that 5-minute demo there is open. We want your submissions. We want your Batman costume. If there is Harley out there that wants to deliver a demo in 5 minutes and test your and deliver whatever you want to show off and be part of the show, please send us your submissions. We will get the URL posted here anytime. But then we are getting ready for Summit and Dev Day. Francisco will tell us about that, where we are going to have the finalists for this show of the first season. Francisco, your turn.
Yes, everyone, please join us on June 6th, as this is the last day of Summit in San Francisco at Moscone, where we're going to have Dev Day. So not only are we going to have the grand finale of the Demo Day competition, but also we're going to have amazing luminary speakers. We're going to have some great Gen AI boot camps. We're going to have some cool community meetups, and of course, an amazing after party. So please join us. It's a free event. Come and register. Just search for Dev Day at Data Cloud Summit, and you will find it.
Did you say free?
Yes, indeed, it is free, and you can, you come on that last day, and you can also attend the Summit events on that one day, on June 6th, at no charge.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to meeting everyone there, at least, hopefully everyone that's on this stream. Francisco, it's time to deliver the final score, the final judgment.
Let me look at my notes from Channing and Caroline as well. They did an amazing job of rating. So just to remind everyone, the categories are how engaging the demo is, how relevant it is, and then how ambitious it was. I think there was no questions asked. It was one of the most engaging demos that we have seen in this competition. So great scores there. It was amazingly relevant, certainly relevant for our customers, which is what I was looking for. But I think it's also relevant to the rest of humanity, how you can solve crime doing semantic search of this crime and villains database. Ambitious was also ambitious in that you were able to start from scratch and be able to solve all these crimes in, let's say, about 4 minutes or so. I would say, you had an extra minute. I would say, in order to make it even more interesting for the audience, maybe show some of the behind the scenes next time as you show the demo, show what's happening, in the weeds, let's say for the developers that are watching the demo. But it was very impressive. So overall, drum roll, please. The final score is 11.7. So congratulations. That's a great score, Batman.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Jon. Any last word, Jon, before we close?
Nope. Thank you for the time. Really appreciate it, Felipe. You're a great host. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone. And please join us at Summit and join us. Come to the show. Send us your 5-minute demo submission. Have a great day.
Want to be featured on our show? Submit a video of you successfully completing a functioning demo within 5 minutes. Demos must be technical, original, and showcase existing Snowflake features.